In today's video, we're going to take a look at the Xbox ROG Ally and the Xbox ROG Ally X, and we're going to be running the same game just so we can kind of get a comparison on the performance difference between the two devices. So I've had quite a few requests for certain specific games. First one we're going to do today is Hogwarts Legacy. So we're going to, the way we're going to do this is really not like a which one's better. Obviously, we know which one's better. The goal here is to kind of see like what is the gulf between the two devices? What kind of performance difference can you expect if you're going to choose the ROG Xbox Ally and save $400 versus the X model? So we're going to run these both at turbo. We're going to do 720p and we're going to have the Radeon image sharpening on. I did change the VRAM on both of these to what I would normally use. So the white model is set to 8 gigabytes VRAM, which leaves 8 gigabytes for the system. And the X model I've got set to 14 gigabytes of VRAM, which leaves 10 for the system. So keep that in mind when comparing the two. I mean, this is something that I would expect you to do if you got either of these models, is change the VRAM, because they ship all of these PC handhelds with the stupidest VRAM settings. I don't really even know why they do it, because people, especially like with these ones, right? Xbox console gamers picking up a PC handheld for the first time might not even know about VRAM and that it needs to be changed. And it just leaves a bad taste in people's mouths right off the bat because it leads to really bad performance. So I digress. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and take a look at Hogwarts Legacy. And so we saw the settings there. I'm going to show you the in-game settings here. They are both set to the same thing. And throughout the video, I'm going to be pausing the bottom one for video sync, just to try to keep as close as possible what you're seeing on screen so you can kind of compare the two. I think this happens a couple of different times. I just get, through the gameplay, just get a little bit off sync with each other. It's kind of the way that these PC handheld works. I'm just using one account. I mean, I'm not buying games multiple times or anything, so I can't have these games up and running at the same time because these storefronts don't allow that. So I have to like play through it once and then try to remember exactly what I did and then try to recreate that. So I did the best I can here. I think on this particular video, I did a pretty good job of it. And we can see right off the bat here that the Ally model is running in the 60s and the Ally X is running in the 80s. So that's about a 25% difference. That's actually pretty impressive here for the Ally. I'm like super impressed with this so far. So what we're going to do is just play through the opening sequence of the game. It's about 15 minutes here, I think, so you can just kind of see the opening sequence on both devices. And you can kind of watch the frame rates go up and down. I'm not sure if this has cross save. I have a full like platinum run on the PlayStation, so I need to see if this has cross save because it would be nice to get into the open world without having to like replay a whole bunch to get there. So if you would like to see this same comparison but in the open world, because I imagine we're going to get a little bit lower on the FPS. And so if you'd like to see that, drop a comment down below, and if enough people say that they want to see that, even if I have to replay it to get it there, I will do that. So please drop a comment down below if you would like to see that. Before we get going here, you can see the video, or you can see, you can see the settings that we're going to be working with here. So I did use the same in-game settings on both. Again, I've got the bottom paused, so that way we can just kind of pick up. I played the Ally first and then the Ally X second, so all of these settings were already like ready to go. So I didn't run through them again for the sake of the editing, but you can see all of the different settings here for really for both machines. So we'll finish up here the settings, and then we will jump back into the gameplay. And the last couple, yeah, so you can see these are the recommended settings for the device. And again, so far it's really running. The image quality actually looks pretty nice too. It would be interesting to even see maybe the Ally versus the Nintendo Switch 2 version. So if that's something you would want to see, drop a comment down below. And again, if enough people drop a comment on it, I will try to work that into the schedule, and so we can do a comparison on that as well. We're pretty much booked up this week as far as what I am able to do as far as videos go, with a couple of other game selections. So this would be for the following weeks and beyond. For those of you more interested in the Ally X, just FYI, I've only got this one for a few weeks before it goes back. So if you have anything specific that you want to see on the Ally X or the Ally versus the Ally X, drop that comment down below, because I only have a little bit of time with the Ally X. I'm going to have the Ally for much longer, pretty much through most of January. So again, as always, thank you guys for watching. Go ahead and drop a like on the video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe for more content. We're going to be doing so much more. We do also have Legion Go 2, hopefully on the way soon. Lenovo really has been hush-hush about it. Best Buy is still showing October 31st, so I'm hoping that I can still get it then. But I also did have a 2 terabyte model pre-order through Lenovo. I was just really going to keep whichever one comes in first. But it keeps getting pushed back. It started with October 9th, then it went to later in October, and then early November. And I think last time I looked at it, it said December 2nd. So who really knows? It's a little bit frustrating on that front. But if we can get the Legion Go 2 in before the Ally X goes back, there will be some fun videos on that as well. But I mean, I'm pretty impressed with Hogwarts Legacy, especially on the Ally. I mean, the image quality looks great. It's running really good. Obviously, it's not going to be as high of FPS as the Ally X, and depending on what type of gamer you are, there's plenty of people that are like, "Hey, 30 FPS is good enough for me." So if you're looking at the Ally X and you're like, "Man, this is running at 80, I can probably crank up the settings and get some really good looking image quality at 30 FPS." Yeah, I think you're going to be able to do that. I think you're going to have less headroom on the Ally, especially when it gets into the open world, because the FPS will probably be a little bit less. But I think both of these you might even be able to go a little higher. But again, this is the recommended settings. And let's go ahead and move forward here. I'm going to blow up this wall here real quick. And one interesting thing here is whenever the Ally X blows up this wall, you saw a big stutter. It didn't really happen on the Ally as much as it did on the Ally X, so I don't know. PC gaming, right? Just mileage is going to vary on weird stuff like that, but those things do kind of happen. But I'm impressed with the Ally. I really am shocked at how well this is running. I think Hogwarts Legacy, since it's been out for a while now, it might just be more optimized for the PC handheld, because I've been doing some other testing. I've got the Star Wars Outlaws video comparison coming up on the channel here this week, and I'm trying to get Expedition 33 as well by the end of the week. So stay tuned for those, and those I don't think are going to be quite as impressive as what you're seeing here. So it'll be interesting to see those videos coming up. So if you want to see those, please go ahead and subscribe. And we're going to go ahead and move forward here in the tutorial. But yeah, overall, I mean, I continue to be pretty impressed with the Ally here. And if any of you guys watching have either of one of these devices, I would love to hear about your experience so far here on this opening weekend. Please tell me about what games you've tried, what games run well, what games don't run well. If you got both of the devices and you're trying to make up your mind, I'd love to hear about that too. I'm just super curious about people's experiences. I'm curious about what people's expectations were versus what they actually got. So, man, if you've got thoughts on any of that stuff, I would love to hear those. So please drop those in the comments as well. And as far as the Hogwarts Legacy, the game goes, if you're curious about it, if you guys haven't played it, if you like Harry Potter, this game is really cool. I really like it a lot. It's pretty much the best representation of like the school experience as far as any game has been able to recreate so far. There are some cooler earlier games like on the previous consoles. Like I really liked Order of the Phoenix. I felt like they did a really good job with the school for the hardware at the time, but this game definitely takes that to another level, especially if you played it on high end hardware. I mean, with like ray tracing and stuff, the game it really does look beautiful. But even handheld here, this looks really good. I'm pretty impressed. I'm actually kind of excited maybe to get to the end and see the school on these handhelds as well. We won't be seeing that at the end in this video, but again, if you guys want to see more, just drop that comment and maybe we'll get to it. But the game is really cool. There's a lot of focus on the open world and activities to do in the open world, but it's a lot of like there's a lot of collectathon type stuff. There's a lot of like different, I forget what they're called in this game. It's kind of like shrines. It's been a while since I played it right when it came out, so that was right after my daughter was born, so I got to play a lot while she was sleeping all day. So been a few years, so I don't remember exactly everything about it, but I do remember I enjoyed my experience. I don't think it. I think it has a lot of room for improvement, so I'm kind of hoping that they do just a straight up sequel and just kind of like elevate it. I would like to see a little more a camaraderie with like different like friends in the school. I think that's where this game lacked a little bit. You did have a couple companions and some companion storylines in this game, but I felt like they're okay. They're not bad, but I feel like they kind of missed that mark of as far as like what fans are used to between like Harry and Ron and Hermione, and then they're kind of like extended friend base that you interact with throughout all the books. So it'd be cool to see a little bit more interaction, a little bit more camaraderie, a little bit more involvement from like other school members and stuff like that if they end up doing a sequel. Or even if they do a sequel and it's like a totally different character, totally different story. I think that would also be cool too. Maybe even a different time setting. So like maybe just fast forward, 20 years or even go further back in time would also be really cool. But yeah, it's a cool game. So if you're into Harry Potter, I definitely recommend it. If you're watching this, you probably are already have played it or about to play it. So definitely a good game. I think you can definitely look forward to your experience with it. If you're an achievement hunter, if you're playing the Xbox version, or yeah, and you want to do, I'm sure this Steam sometimes has more achievements than other platforms, so I'm not really sure what the Steam achievements look like. But like I said, I played it and platinumed it on PlayStation, and the collectibles really do take a ton of time. There is tons and tons of them. I think there was like 5 or 6 or 700 of a certain collectible you had to get, and some of them at launch were glitched, so you had to do some like weird things to get them to pop. But I'm sure all that stuff's probably resolved by now. But just be forewarned if you want to do a full completion on achievements. There are a lot of collectibles, so I would say if you're going to go after that when you're in the open world, really just try to exhaust every opportunity, every area that you go in. Just try to clear them out as you go, because you'll save yourself a lot of cleanup later. But yeah, these so far in this opening sequence, again, I think it's because it's not the open world. I think both of these devices are cooking here. So really just running great. I'm really impressed with both of these. The Ally X is I'm super impressed with the chip and the RAM and having the extra headroom on the VRAM. I think we're going to be able to run a lot of PC games at really good kind of quality settings. I think the Ally, you're going to have a lot more trade-offs, and you're going to have some really demanding games that maybe are going to be ones that you have to skip. And I think, like I said, you'll see some of that later this week on the channel, so stay tuned for that. But also, these are new chips. I mean, the one in the Ally it's been unconfirmed, but it's like a wink, wink, nod, nod, same as the Steam Deck chip. I don't know if it's exactly the same or if there'll be some optimization to it in the drivers that maybe get it better performance. We'll see. But Z2 Extreme is brand new, so I would even expect it to improve over the next year, maybe 2, as they improve the drivers. That certainly has happened with the Z1 Extreme. It's certainly gotten better over time. So I think the Ally X has got way more headroom. Of course, you're going to pay, almost double for it, but I think that's going to give you some more longevity as well. So, but it's hard, man. 600 versus 1,000. That's hard. I think it's just so out of reach for a lot of people. Even $600 is. I mean, you look at the Xbox Series X and versus the Series S sales, and Series S destroyed Series X in sales, total lifetime sales. So, in most of its lifetime, the Series X was $500, and they even spent a holiday season at $349, and it didn't sell like gangbusters compared to the S. So, even $600, I think, is a tough ask for a lot of people. So, I mean, the $1,000 is it's just going to be out of reach for a lot of people. So, it'll be interesting to see how it goes. I think they're expecting the Ally to sell more. It's certainly in greater supply and at way more retailers. Um, but if that's the case, I just wonder why maybe they didn't just put a standard maybe Z2 chip in it instead. You know, that Xbox has sort of been blaming ROG for the pricing structure. And I'm sure that if we asked them about the chips, they'll probably blame them on that too. So, well, that's it for the video today, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, and we'll see you in the next one.